Somebody told me that you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I had in February of last year. Anyway, welcome everyone to episode 73. I didn't update the title, did I? I messed that up, didn't I? Want to fix that?
Yes. Yep, because it still says PC
Welcome
games.
to episode 73. I didn't update the title at all, did I? Jesus, I'm bad at this.
It's fine. You're a professional streamer.
Okay, anyway, welcome to episode 73 of the Beyond Pixels podcast. Today, we're talking about console games. It's going to be a little smaller crew today, but that doesn't really matter. Who really cares if it's a smaller crew? We're Stell should be here in a bit. Either way.
My beer is cold, so everything will be fine.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, console games. The only thing that consoles are good for, in my opinion, is nostalgic games. Like Neopets the Darkest Fairy.
I actually never played them before.
Oh my god, it's such a good game.
I also never played it, but you already knew that.
It is one of my favorite games of all time.
I suppose you're right about the nostalgic game parts, because there are games I want that I can't afford because of how old and like Silent Hill 1. That's almost a $300 game now, and it's for the PS1. I could.
Yeah, those games get pretty expansive. But like, so the basic idea on why I say I don't really like console games is because the people that make games for consoles make them exclusive to console for no real reason other than they get paid by the console manufacturers, so either Sony or Microsoft, to make a game exclusive to that console for X amount of years and never make it on anything else during that time. When in reality, the additional programming overhead to make something work cross-platform is minimal. I also just noticed that I have the wrong view on. Switch that.
I don't
I
know
thought you did that on
when
purpose at the
they
beginning.
plan on
I
doing this,
There we
but
go.
I've heard Xbox plans on adding Steam to them because something between Steam and Microsoft happened, and so they plan on getting Steam games on Xbox.
If that does happen, not all Steam games are going to be available on the Xbox unless Microsoft is literally running a Windows machine on the Xbox, which I don't believe they are. I really wouldn't be surprised if they are, though.
So we don't know much about that yet because that's part of their next console. The console isn't even out yet.
Well, in that case,
who
the
knows
next
how long
console
the
is probably
console
just going to be an X64 machine
Uh,
and have a regular,
English.
like pretty much all, a basic. It's going to be a desktop computer that is locked down to only specific marketplaces. And with that, I guarantee Microsoft will be taking a cut of the profits from Steam, and Steam games are going to be able to mark themselves as not available on that, or more specifically mark themselves as available on that. So it's not going to be much of a benefit to anyone other than Microsoft and possibly Steam. It's not going to be much of a benefit to the gamers, because games, just because a game is on Steam doesn't mean it's playable on, say, the Steam Deck. And just because it's playable on the Steam Deck doesn't mean that it's going to play perfectly on the deck. Because it's not made for that device. It's not made for that form factor. It's not made for controllers. If a game is made to be played with a controller, it should work almost perfectly, but there's still an additional layer of software there that messes things up.
A friend of mine tampered with his Steam Deck to play modded Minecraft on it.
Wow. Well, a Steam Deck is literally just a
cool.
little Linux tablet with a specific OS installed on it.
Mm-hmm. It was really
Other
cool.
than that, it's really just a handheld computer. And so consoles have been basically just computers and using basically the same hardware as computers ever since the Xbox 360 and the PS3. The original
What?
Xbox and the original PS2 did not have off-the-shelf computer components. They were machines built for a purpose, and that's it.
Well,
And everything before them
so
was also.
I'm gonna go off topic just a little bit about consoles being computers. You said the PS2 wouldn't be considered a computer, but weren't PS2s used in the military for like
PS3s.
I can't remember. Were they PS3s?
It
I
was
thought they were the
PS3.
big. Okay.
No, it was PS3s. It
Yeah,
was
I thought
PS3s
it
that
was
the
big blocky
military.
ones.
Yeah, that's PS3. It's literally the one that I have in the living room. That's the one they used. No, the PS2 was a purpose-built machine with with all proprietary parts and things in it. Unlike every console after that, sure, some of them might have some proprietary parts, but for the most part, the bulk of the hardware, the CPU, the GPU, are just off-the-shelf chips from NVIDIA, Intel, AMD.
Okay.
So that's why I say consoles really aren't necessary anymore. And it's almost sometimes more expensive to get a console than it is to get a comparable computer.
Yeah. I mean, most people say the day consoles hit $1,000, you're better off going to buy a computer.
And most consoles are $1,000 new right now than they have been for like 5 years.
Have they? I mean, they're straddling that
when
line.
a console first comes out, you're up in that $900 to $1,000 mark.
I don't know. I have an Xbox One, so I wouldn't know. That's my newest console.
My PS3 is my newest console, and that I paid like $200 for, like 7 years ago now.
I paid $800 for mine, but it's also a Scorpio edition, which is just a limited edition, more powerful one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I say any console after the Xbox 360 and the PS3, there's no real reason to have those consoles unless you want to play a very specific game that is exclusive to that console and never got a remake on PC. That is the only time that I say, yeah, if you want to spend $400 on an extremely limited piece of hardware, go for it. If you really want to play that game, do it.
Yeah, I also hate console exclusives. Like,
It's
not.
all it is a ploy to get people to buy the console. That's the only reason to make it exclusive to one console. And that's why Microsoft and Sony pay the game creators or the game developers to make it exclusively for one console.
Yeah. Microsoft and Sony are bad.
It's only for money. That's it. That's the whole. That's the biggest reason why I dislike consoles. Everything about them is just made to get you stuck in their ecosystem and to buy their products and spend money in their store.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least there are some Microsoft and Sony games on Steam. The biggest company out there that says no, you can't get it on anything would be Nintendo, which I don't really want to talk about because they like to sue people.
Yeah. Nintendo is. I have a Wii somewhere in a box. That is the only Nintendo device I've ever owned.
I've had a Nintendo DS. That was a really fun device.
Oh yeah, I had a Game Boy.
Yeah, and I have two
What
SPs.
company made the Game Boy? Was it Nintendo? Or?
Yeah, that was still Nintendo. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a Game Boy Advance somewhere. It's in a box somewhere, I think. I haven't seen that thing in like 10 years.
Nice. Well, going off that, I also hate Wii's because they discriminate against my people. Sorry. Every time. Yeah, a Wii. Yeah, I can't use a Wii because you have to have both nunchucks in your hand.
There's a lot of games that you can play
True.
with just the one controller. There's very few that require the nunchuck.
Really?
Not all games require nunchucks.
Okay. I didn't know that.
There's very few games
The
that require the
only-
nunchuck, and then there's even fewer games that require you to turn the controller sideways and press buttons at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, my mom had a Nintendo Wii, and the only game she had for it was the Wii Fit, so I didn't even use it. I never played it.
Oh yeah,
If
that
you can call
that
that
type of
playing
stuff
it.
requires it. Hello,
Phil.
Stealth.
Hello,
So we're
boys.
talking about how much consoles are stupid, and anything after Xbox 360 or PS3 is just a waste of money.
Yeah.
Look, I can't say
they're
that,
talking
given
about
server
it.
I'm in is
I'm
heavily
saying
Xbox.
positives.
I couldn't hear you. He was screaming in my ear.
I was going to say, considering the server I'm in, I feel like if I were to say anything, the Xbox boys would descend upon me like arrows.
So listen to my reasoning. The Xbox, the original Xbox and the PS2 were both purpose-built machines with not computer components directly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to find a regular computer CPU in either of those. You're not going to find a regular computer GPU in either of those. But as soon as you go to the Xbox 360 and the PS3, suddenly they do have off-the-shelf computer CPUs and GPUs. They are just computers now that are locked down and only allowed to have certain software on them. Proven by the fact that you can install Linux on a PS3.
Is that so?
But you can't on the Microsoft side, yeah.
Look, you're not hurting
Can't
my
on the
feelings. I've been a
Xbox
PC boy
360.
for a long time.
Yeah, I've been heavily against spending money on consoles unless there happens to be a console exclusive game that you really, really want to play, and that's the only reason you're going to buy the console, to play that one game. Then, sure, if you really want to spend $1,000 to play one
Kingdom
game,
Hearts.
go for it. Yeah,
No longer
I
an
bought,
issue.
but I bought a $200 PS3 to be able to play that. So
Mhm.
that I wasn't spending $700, $800 or more to be able to play that one game.
Yeah.
And I do have other games too. But anyway, no, the other reason that I dislike console is it's similar to the Apple ecosystem in a way, where once you have
Mhm.
one device, you better stick with those, or you're going to be spending so much
Brand
more money
loyalty.
to switch out of it. Yeah. The issue with consoles more though is console exclusive games. There is no reason for console exclusive games to exist anymore. Back in the day on the PS2 and the Xbox, there was reason to have console exclusives because the consoles were special purpose-built machines with special CPUs and hardware specific to playing games, whereas computers were not very powerful, and unless you're using a purpose-built machine at that time, you're just not going to have as much to play with.
Yeah.
So that back then, 100% consoles were a necessity if you were going to play games. There weren't very many computer games, and that was for a reason. But now, because consoles are literally just off-the-shelf components and can run a regular operating system, and they are identical in many ways to your computer tower or your laptop, there's just no reason to have a console exclusive. You can have the same exact game played the same exact way, if not better, on a PC.
Yeah.
And you can even require that someone have a controller to use to play that game. That's entirely acceptable.
Yeah. And again, you're preaching to the choir here.
There's a lot of games on the PC that without a controller, they just don't play quite right. You need the controller almost.
Oh, but Xbox and PS all have all this multimedia stuff. So the fuck does PC? Yeah. In fact, where do you think that started?
See, like, I have a PS3, and that's only because that is the only console I've ever bought myself. Only reason I have it is solely because of Kingdom Hearts. And my dad also had bought a PS3 years before, so I had a few other games that I took with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just and let's talk about another niche thing that PlayStation specifically came out with. PSVR. Has anyone here ever used that before?
No, but I have seen the controllers for it, and they are very suggestive.
They look like dildos.
Look like.
Okay.
Yeah, they're microphones. I mean, like they look like microphones that your sister might be using,
we'll call them,
or your mom might be using. Either way, your wife is using the microphone while you're away. Let's just put it that way.
Better not have touched my Yeti.
Anyway, yeah. So the PSVR, from everything I've heard about it, it's cheap. And it doesn't work very well. It's worse than a Quest. And God, I could talk about how much I hate the Quest, but that's another story for another day.
Can you imagine if PSVR could actually run VR chat?
Oh God.
Oh God. Technically, it can, because PlayStation, PS3, 4, and 5 all run, or all the PlayStations since PS3 run a flavor of Linux. And what is Android? Android is Linux. What is the Quest? Quest is Android. So you could very easily run VR chat on a PSVR. In VR, probably not, but it's possible. It wouldn't take much.
Anyone who has a PlayStation PSVR, try it. What did you say, Xavier? Also, hi.
I heard PlayStation branded dildos and I appeared.
Yeah. So, Xavier, how do you feel about consoles? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they should all go in the dumpster?
Oh,
do you think it's worth buying a console?
In a way, yes, but it depends on the goal. I mean, if you want to, it's hard to say you can keep your games down, especially with the stuff that Nintendo's doing, but I still have my, right behind me, I got my Commodore 64. I got my, and like literally behind me.
Let me pause for a second here. When I'm talking consoles that you should, that like, should you buy them? I'm talking the new age consoles. Anything like PS3 and Xbox 360 or newer. Those consoles, are they worth buying? Because everything before that was a purpose-built machine that you couldn't do on anything else. You couldn't do those things on a computer.
Nintendo's in a weird way different, but with the latest change, that's depends on like what you think. But it's a PlayStation or an Xbox. I think it's better suited with the PC in so many ways that it's not even funny. I feel like the only console that's truly left is Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been saying.
Coming out soon.
But even now, the Switch is ran on an Android-based operating system, so it's still it's like a phone instead of a computer.
exactly, yeah.
So my Galaxy is a
I
Switch.
guess like, I guess part of it is like what makes a
You're a
console
Switch.
have the console magic. Like there's a console magic.
Yeah, I think when consoles started to use off-the-shelf computer components instead of optimizing and having different architecture specifically built for games, that's
Yeah.
when consoles just became another computer, and there's nothing special
home
about them anymore.
appliance. I mean, you had a console. I mean, there was days when, like, you know, playing Sega Genesis or think about any fighting game. I mean, like Mortal Kombat. You'd get off the bus right from school because maybe some of you guys went there.
I thought
And then
that's not the bus I thought you were.
you thought you get off the special bus. You go
The short bus.
and then you get into the house.
In the theory, that's what I'm talking about, but no.
Oh, but you get there with your real like life. They're breathing in front of you, friends, and then like you go play a game. Y'all go into the living room after the the messed up dad sitting there drunk for some reason, and then you all have a good time.
All right.
Well, it wasn't my dad.
They've got the real set the scene here.
I'm just saying that that's like childhood,
and
at least
there's-
for me.
And Xavion, there's wood paneling all over the place, right?
Yes, there's wood paneling too.
And a shag carpet.
Oh, I love the shag carpet, but it always smelled like
Okay,
shit in
maybe
that
you
house.
are describing my childhood. What the fuck?
It was
Can you
it was
stop?
green. It was green, dark, puke
Yep,
green shag carpet.
The green
Like,
shag
why?
carpet and a flower patterned couch.
Draw like
Yes.
ocean blue that was even on the staircase.
Oh my
That was
god.
the game room
It might have,
that my
like, the-
cousins
like-
had, and every time I visited, we would all just bunker down in there.
The house you would never game at is people had parents that had plastic around the furniture because they wanted to keep it safe. You couldn't do shit over their house, barely anything over their house. They had strict parents. You don't want to know what happened. You just let it be.
So now the funny thing, would you consider the Quest or any of the Quest headsets a game console on their own?
I would say
really.
yes. They're
They're a modern
I
game
would-
console. They're on par with the Xbox and the PS4, 5, whatever.
But they're a game console in the same way your smartphone is a camera.
We'll go with that. Yeah, because I mean, technically,
Yeah,
I
you
would
can
consider a
do
phone.
that, but you're selling it
console.
short by calling it that.
Think about this way.
It is similar. It is like literally you could compare a modern day Xbox, whatever the fuck they're calling it now, with a Quest headset, and you can just look at it and be like, okay, they both play games. They both have a marketplace to buy games. They both have internet connection to play games multiplayer. They're literally both just comp.
Yeah, but like down to its base form, it's just a fat smartphone you put on your face. Because even
Well,
smartphones
yeah,
are
there we go.
capable of that shit now.
But that literally is. I mean, the first VR headsets were, or the first modern VR headsets were just an Android phone slapped in a box on your face.
Everything you own in it.
God, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, the
Samsung
cardboard.
Gear VR. You have the Google Cardboard, Samsung Gear VR.
Yeah, the Google Cardboard. That's what it was called.
Well, here's something I think about when it comes to headsets. So, like, you remember back in the day, we had the Game Boy, OG Game Boy, and then we had the rival Game Gear from Sega Genesis. I see it like that. It's
That
a
was
mobile
short-lived.
platform with the tiny screen on the inside, and then shortly after that, we had from the past, blast from the past. You had the Virtual Boy. Oh my God.
Oh.
If there's anything that really blends the line of it, I played the Virtual Boy by renting the entire concept from an ancient store called Best Buy. It's not there anymore. But
No.
Yeah.
Are you
want
talking about
ancient.
Blockbuster?
You want ancient. Yeah. We're calling it now. Best Buy goes bankrupt in 2 years. Continue.
Who knows? They think it's selling refrigerators. But it's a console like that. It has computer parts like a smartphone and whatnot. But then again, you could also make a smartphone with some of the parts from the consoles. If you think about it, it's just not going to be.
They're all interchangeable now. It's all the same in the end. But I would myself consider. Do you mind? I would myself consider a Quest as a standalone console.
Your breasts are offensive, apparently.
A modern day console. Like,
yeah,
when I think of a game console, I think of a purpose-built machine that can do things that a computer can't. Like, it can play games in a better way, smoother way, more functional way, with different hardware and different control schemes than a computer can. That's gone out the window in the last 10 years completely.
Yeah,
I think for me it depends on how it's used socially. Like that's gaming. And it's
so,
you know,
the other reason I hate consoles now is they're all just a cash grab. There's no reason to have console exclusive games anymore, because it takes an extra like 10, 20 minutes, maybe a couple hours or a couple days at the very, very worst for a complex game to make it work on all consoles and all systems, like all computers and everything. There's no reason to make something a console exclusive anymore unless the console company is shelling out money to tell you, don't make this for something else, make it only for us.
Imagine if they took the apps out of consoles, like the fact you couldn't watch YouTube, you couldn't watch Crunchyroll, you couldn't play DVDs on a console. Is it still a valuable console? I feel like they have to slap it in just to make it worthy of a game. But the hype back in the day, you wanted an Xbox, you wanted a Dreamcast. Our last penny was used on gaming, but I feel like now it's just like.
And back then, consoles were cheaper than computers because they were purpose-built for one specific purpose. Now, consoles are a lot of the time more expensive than a comparable computer.
You can game on a $200 machine. It's possible. You may not be like the best games. You may not be in the top tier, but you can entry-level gaming is PC now. That was never a thing. But that's totally how it is now.
And that's why consoles took off so much in the 90s and early 2000s.
I question people, like I have my work colleagues. I have the guy, he's a console guy. I don't really understand him. Like I don't it's hard to get there because there's you're nerfing yourself so hard by just thinking on console.
See, I can understand it to a point. If you don't know anything about computers, you don't want a computer, you don't want to have anything to do with a computer, and you just want to play games, and that's all you want to do, you don't want to use a browser, you don't want to do anything else, you just want to play games, then sure, get a console. But now you have to figure out, okay, which console am I going to get? Am I going to go with the PlayStation or am I going to go with the Xbox? Which one has the console exclusive games? And the funniest part, a lot of times it's console exclusive to only one console, but also it's on PC.
Yes. And now we have what Steam's showing up in apps on Xbox. I mean, that's gonna happen. At that point, just get yourself a
talking
PC.
About that. We were talking about that a little before you came in. And I was saying that when that happens, that it's literally just going to be the games that you can currently play on a Steam Deck will be the only games you can play on that Xbox console. Because you're not going to be able to port the other games over unless Microsoft is literally just going to make the next console run a Windows 11 machine, basically. With it,
here's what I wonder.
That's probably what it's going to be. It's probably just going to be a Windows 11 machine with a different skin put on top.
I kind of wish the console race would kind of do something like Nintendo did. Nintendo it's
Nintendo
it's for
sets themselves apart for sure.
Yeah, but it still makes games primarily in the kid range. They may dip into the teenager range. Bayonetta, that's one I can call out right off the top of my head. But they stick near the kid range. I kind of wish, in a weird way, that consoles would just like, hey, there's a lane you can just stay in and just make games separately. Because I would love to just have a divide between the adults and children who play. Maybe they should still be on
If
console.
I look weird, there is a damn dog at me.
That in that case, like, yeah, if I had a kid that's like 7 or 8, I would probably buy them a Switch.
Yes.
Before I would buy them a computer and teach them to do that, because now they can take their game console anywhere and they're not stuck in one little location. They can go do what they want, hang out with their friends and play games.
On a parental side, you feel like it's safer. You're like you genuinely feel like you're not going to have your usual COD lobby in there blasting a whole bunch of stuff you can't say on Twitch.
Yeah, pretty much any game that's on the Switch is acceptable for a kid, and it's a much more difficult system to break out and do other things. Like, I don't think there's like a web browser or a YouTube app on the Switch. I wouldn't know if there is, but I would assume there's not.
Yeah, I do believe there was a YouTube app on Switch.
There's
I remember seeing.
But either way, it's such a lockdown system that I'm pretty sure you can set up an admin account on it and put a password on that, and now lock those out for the other accounts on it. But
I feel like YouTube on it is a secondary option. Like, you must have YouTube on a PlayStation. You must have YouTube on an Xbox, because you're going to use it. You got to have a DVD on it.
Yeah.
But for a Switch, most times you're going to hop in and play a game.
Oh man,
that's what.
But now the crazy thing, the additional things that consoles added, because like they're not as useful for just gaming anymore, and less people would buy them if they could just play games with them. All of those extra things like YouTube, TV, like sports channels and things that the Xbox used to have, those are all being handled by your TV directly now. Because most people now have a smart TV, because a smart TV doesn't cost any more to have than a non-smart TV.
It's hard to find a not smart TV. I mean, like, you're getting basically a CRT if you're not getting a smart TV. And I know, I tried. I want just a flat screen TV.
Roku's are like super cheap right now, or at least in my area.
Yeah, and the reason the TVs are getting so much cheaper now is because they're acting as that intermediary between console and no console.
Well, and even if you don't have a smart TV, there are things like Fire Sticks.
Yeah, and those cost like $20-$30.
No, I did not.
Oh, my puppy was whining.
Because none of my parents don't have Rokus. They only have one smart TV, and they just bought Fire Sticks for the rest of their TVs. So they didn't have to go out and buy brand new smart TVs.
And like, I have a Chromecast, one of the 4K ones, so I don't use it anymore because we got the smart TV now.
I have all three. And then like I have one attached to my monitor just in case I just want to fuck around. Even though I can just flip it. But it's just like there.
So like there's really just no reason to have a console anymore. Your TV does all the things that the console does as a bonus, just to entice you to get the console, and have everything in one. Consoles usually aren't very well made anymore. They're so compacted and compressed down that they boil. They don't have adequate cooling.
Honestly, I think there's a need for consoles, like a strong need. They don't need to be super powerful. I think what we need is like some kind of option.
All right, he's not leaving me alone. I'll be back in a few, boys.
All right. Yeah.
See, I think it's not I wish us, Sega,
average gamer. Yeah.
I wish Sega would come back and make a console themselves again, and compete with Microsoft and Sony with a new console that is specialized to game on. And see, that's the other issue on why consoles can't really be specialized like that anymore. Because if when they were like the PS2, you can't just write that in the regular coding languages that a computer uses. It has its own specialized set of instructions, and that makes it a little more difficult barrier to entry to make the games. But now we have things like Unity. Now we have things like Unity and Unreal Engine that you just check a box and suddenly you're compiling for Android, iOS, or Windows, or Linux, or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just bring back cartridges.
Man, I would love to bring back cartridges.
A modern cartridge just has a key file on it saying, "Hey, I own this game."
I mean, that's better than
that's
now.
That's what Nintendo's currently. You get a cartridge that just says that here's your proof of purchase. Now get ready to download.
Yeah.
I feel like when we cross that line, that's the death of consoles.
So the issue with that is, Eddie, do you mind? The issue with that is now they can remove the game from their store and delete the files off of the store. And if you don't have them downloaded right now, you can have that physical little key, but do you have the game? Can you get the game? Nope.
Yep. My Star Fox, I still have that. I still have Star Fox.
What Star
I
Fox?
also have special adapters as a cords, and I can play it. Nintendo
There really is just
know.
no. I will personally never buy a console. Like I might buy a Switch at some point, and I might buy a. I'll either buy a Switch or I'll buy a Steam Deck. I'll probably go the Steam Deck route, to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I want to throw something else at you. If the VR headsets, remove the internet from it, make them have cartridges or disc or something like that. No cartridges, because people are going to shake their heads. I think it'll be a more valuable experience, just because the biggest problem with a lot of VR, whether it's a game, whether it's VR chat or whatever it is, stability is where it falls apart. And if they could just build the game 100%, plug it into your headset, and then you're gone, you're immersed.
Instead
That's what it's to be.
Instead of a cartridge, use a little USB plug with the game files on it.
Yeah. Actually, flash drive. There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
Honestly, I would appreciate that.
I think
just to get away,
Yeah, I think if there was a standalone VR headset that had a flash drive style of game, you can buy the game drive at a store or online, and you have a copy of that game now, and you can play it offline without internet. I think that headset would probably sell more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they have to offer the online play and all that crap, because you're never going to sell a console or a headset or anything right now without that. But offer it as an option for offline play.
And also,
for people that don't have internet.
The physical cartridge had one advantage that I think we are missing dearly. And that was the fact, like, hey, you want to play Superman 64, which is a horrible dog shit game. You shouldn't do this to yourself. But if you want to play Superman 64, here you go. You just hand them the game. I can't hand you my, what game do I have on here? A fucking Zenless Zone Zero? I can't hand you that. You have to download it yourself. Which is, it's cool and all. But along with that, you get,
and it's actually illegal for you to like package those files up and send them to someone else now.
Yeah.
So if for some reason
in Castlevania, I got the save file at the end.
Yeah, it's all gaming has just devolved into everything has to be online. It has to be online first, instead of how it used to be, where online play was secondary to the game.
Has anyone ever read a Tips and Tricks magazine?
No.
Oh my god, these were the holy grails of gaming.
Wait.
Okay. Basically, it had cheat codes and stuff like that. Now we have mods and stuff like that, but I still think it's the same. When you go look up a mod, it's such an individual experience. But the magazine, you were talking about it at work to all the people. Hey, I found how you do this level.
I think my mom actually had some of those. Oh man. Okay, thinking on that, who remembers printing out 600 pages or like 40 pages of a walkthrough for a game.
Yes. Yes.
My mom used to do that because we'd get stuck in games. Like, okay, Neopets: The Darkest Fairy is my go-to game when I want to talk about this. We would she downloaded the playthrough, printed it out, because we got stuck. So we were like, okay, let's follow this and find out where to go and what to do. So we'd flip to whatever page to find where we're at in it. And there's one part of it that's an oubliette, which is a massive dungeon with a bunch of different switches, and it's just a puzzle. It's a big puzzle. You have to unlock rooms, find the next switch, and keep going around and backtracking and all throughout it. And it's got like 60 fucking rooms in this one area, and it's the oubliette. We got so stuck and so turned around the first time we played that game that we were in the oubliette for a week, playing for 6 hours a day for a week, just trying to get through this one part of the game. And eventually, and this was back with CRT TVs, so
yes,
we got
Magnavox.
a roll of Scotch tape out. we got a roll of Scotch tape out, and we started just putting tape on all the rooms that we were in. So you open up the map, put a piece of tape on it. Okay, go to the next room. Okay, I've been to that room. Open the map, put a piece of tape on it. And that's how we got through that. Then we'd pause, rip all the tape off. It was hilarious.
Nice.
Oh wow! I remember Mega
I
Man
just
replayed
that game a couple months ago now, and I made it through the oubliette in an hour.
Nice. I wonder if there's a speed run of that game.
There is,
Based on
most
you could
definitely.
drive. I mean, technically, I remember there was a YouTuber that tried one that no one ever tried. Some kind of Barbie game. She set the record, and then of course, as soon as she released the video, it broke. Someone else broke it the next day. I mean, you could have the video posted.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and speedruns of games, you don't really see those in their original style of speedrunning from start to finish the game. Now you more see speedrun to do a specific task in a game instead of complete the actual game. Because, again, most games now are not single-player story mode. Most games are now multiplayer online play 24/7.
You know what? I would just with the multiplayer garbage. Most games are coming out as multiplayer garbanzo. Like the stories have died bad, and not that they're not fun. Repo is a great game, but come on, it is still a garbage multiplayer game. There's no story behind it. There's a lot of effort that used to happen in these games. Street Fighter
like
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia at least has a story to it in every play you do. Which again, I want to play Phasmophobia with a group again, all in VR, because that sounds like fun. Haven't played it in years.
That's fun.
And Phasmophobia definitely did it right for a multiplayer only game. Well, it's not necessarily multiplayer only, but it is extremely multiplayer focused. Yeah. It's multiplayer first. That's what I'm going to call it. There's three styles of games. There's single player, there's multiplayer, and then there's I guess there's four. Then there's single player first and multiplayer first.
If you play it by yourself, doesn't it feel very lonely? I mean, it's already scary enough. It's just like I wish someone else was here. Like I feel like that's
if
the
you play
feeling.
Phasmophobia by yourself, you still got the ghost. The ghost is still there with you.
Someone's there keeping you company. You can keep growling. I just don't want to feel alone right now.
Man, the last time I played Phasmophobia, I got attacked by a child ghost, and I was drunk and I started crying. Never went back to that game since. That was like 4 years ago. God.
Someone invited me to it, and I don't like horror games. I don't do jump scares and all that stuff. That part doesn't get me. But to me, it's just, I don't know. It's not entertainment for me. It's not entertainment for me. I'm just walking till I die. I'm not going to do anything right. I'm going to be the first one out just so I can go back to the on my phone and play TikTok. That's going to be more entertaining to me. I'm going to misbehave on purpose.
Dude, you gotta
hide. Whatever, man. YOLO.
So I really just want to emphasize the notes for today. If you haven't looked at the notes for today, you should definitely grab it and look at it because point number D, why do consoles suck so much? Seriously, they are just expensive lockdown computers. No reason for that anymore. If, however, consoles were made in a fashion where they are a computer and you can play regular computer games on them with a keyboard and mouse, but primary focus is on controller-based games, I would be much more okay with consoles existing then.
You can hook up a mouse and keyboard to a Xbox.
You can, but there's not many games that even allow for that to work.
I think the cheesy answer I would say is it's just got too corporatized. It's just
that really is.
I mean,
it's just a cash grab and a way to.
The game's goal is to get consoles, you play one game for months.
The consoles
used to rent a game for a week.
But that's not even the thing. Consoles are now made to get you to buy a bunch of different games on their marketplace, so that the console company gets more money from you.
Yeah.
And then also the exclusive titles. They fight for the exclusive titles so that they can get you to buy their console and get stuck with their console just to play that one game. And now you're like, well, I already have the console. I might as well buy 30 other games to make it worth it.
I can.
Whereas a computer, you buy a computer and you put Steam, EA, or any of the other game services on it. You can just freely choose which one you want to give your money to and go from there and give them all your money or give none of them your money and just play free games. You can do that too.
Yeah, but so like the choice.
The computer games themselves don't give money back to Microsoft or AMD or Nvidia. They don't give money directly to them unless the game itself decides to give some of their money to them, or there's some marketing strategy or something like that, which is still really rare and doesn't really happen when it comes to the PC gaming.
Yeah, the only time they normally it's just a
Microsoft
cut from Steam.
The only time Microsoft gets money from a PC game is if you're using the Game Pass, or you're playing a game that Microsoft actually made, like Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yep. I gotta think. Imagine it was like 19. Let's say it's 2004. So going way back, and then you have Helldivers on PlayStation, which it's on PlayStation now.
But if it was on like the PS2, oh boy.
Yeah.
It would have been so much more popular. Like I might have actually played it.
Yeah. But you get payment options on it. Everything that you have on it today, I can see it being like majorly popular, but at the same time, a huge controversy of just how much money it do. It's looked at as super fair right now, but constant skins, kids getting wallets and stuff like that, and everything's earnable in the game. It's fair, but if you put that back in the day, people will riot.
Something I'm scared of right now, actually, there's some legal cases going against Steam. This actually scares me even more with Steam potentially going on an Xbox console, because people are saying that Steam is a monopoly, which it isn't. There are 3 or 4 other choices you have. You have the EA or Origin launcher, things like that. and you have Microsoft Game Pass, you do have other options for putting your game on. So calling Steam a monopoly is a little disingenuous, I would say.
A stretch.
And I really, really hope those lawsuits don't go through, because if they do, they're going to try to force Steam to break apart and not have as much control over the gaming market anymore. And in turn, it's going to be harder to have all your games and play them all in one place and have a uniform system for downloading and installing and playing games.
And Steam, like, not gonna lie, has been it's odd. It's odd that Steam exists the way it does, because it's oddly fair. It's amazing that it's so fair compared to a lot of the other console systems. It's like the fact that you don't pay $10 a month, $5 a month for Steam, but you can play. You still buy games and all that for Steam. You still get deals on it. You still free games,
and you can play
it.
Free games. The thing about free games on Steam, how free games work, the game publisher or developer actually has to put up, I think it's like $200 just to post their game on Steam. And if they sell the game on Steam, once they recoup that $200, or they have $200 worth of sales, Steam refunds them that amount. Or $1,000 worth of sales or something. There's some number there that Steam's like, hey, you made us money. Here's the money you invested initially to get it posted.
I heard the same thing from Thor. He was talking about it too, and I feel like if they break it apart,
I like that, because
$5 more.
If you want to post something like another app that I use for VR, for my eye tracking, it's called VRC face tracking. That they just started posting it on Steam as their primary way of releasing it now. So they put up the money to post it on Steam, and they're selling it for no profit on Steam. They got all that money to post it there from donations to the project. So they're still giving it away for free. It's still open source, and they're never going to get that $200 or so back from Steam. But that just means that $200 was Steam's fee to host the files for the game, and that's about it.
I honestly didn't know how free games worked on Steam.
Yeah, that's how it works, and it's actually really cool that a lot of open source software can post on Steam and stay free on Steam because of donations from the community that cares about that software.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of scared of Steam going on the Microsoft store like that, or going onto a Microsoft console, because it's going to cause Steam to then be regulated by Microsoft to a point, and it could cause Steam as a whole to become worse and have to change their rules and their ideas just to keep Microsoft happy with them.
Well, and again, we don't know.
We don't know anything on it yet, but just the fact that it's happening, there is a big chance that Microsoft's going to have their fingers in Steam in some way. And if Microsoft does have their fingers in Steam, and it's not Steam just saying, hey, we will make this stuff for your console and give you part of the profits that we make from sales for games that are played on your console. If Steam manages that, golden, great. It's just a big plus for Steam and a plus for Microsoft. There's no negative to it. But if Microsoft decides that they want their fingers in it and they want to have control and they want to limit what Steam is allowed to do at that point, then things go downhill.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're nearing the end here, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. If anyone has any last last thoughts on console games, anything like that. I know we didn't really talk much about games in general. We talked about how
consoles are kind of crap. Favorite console? I mean, they are kind of crap now. But
Sega Dreamcast or PS2?
Nintendo 64.
Ooh, nice. Nintendo 64.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sega Saturn.
The Sega Dreamcast was the first console I ever played.
I can imagine. I got my Dreamcast right behind me too. I still have one.
Nice.
My mom sold the Dreamcast and the N64 at a garage sale for like $50
Oh.
with all the games she had for them.
Did you have Power Stone?
I don't know what games we had for it anymore. I have no clue. I know she had one of the original Mario games on the N64.
Power Stone was on the Dreamcast, and it's still, I like it more than any other street fighting type game out there. It was
okay. We're gonna have to wrap it up because Puppy has to go out. So
all right, yeah. Wrapping it up, putting the condom back on.
Anyway, thank you all for being here for episode 73 of the Beyond Pixels podcast. Next week we're going to be talking about VR chat, updates that have come out recently, and any news that happens to come out in the next week. So we'll be talking about VR chat specifically, anything and everything VR chat related. We're just going to call it the VR chat News Day.
Ooh, yeah.
And I think that's something we should start doing once a month.
Yeah. Oh, a catch up on all the things that happened in a month? Well, that could be big.
Mm-hmm. And I think since next Thursday will be the last Thursday of the month, won't it?
Oh, is
yep.
it already?
So I think the last Thursday,
so
the last Thursday of every month, I think is going to start being VR Chat News Day.
All right.
I think that's reasonable. Anyway, thank you all for being here. You can find us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time on twitch.tv/TurtleDude01. You can find all previous episodes on a playlist over on YouTube under the same name, TurtleDude01. If you're watching this on YouTube, tell us what your favorite console game, whatever was, down in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe, because we're here all the time, and we talk about all sorts of different random things. Eddie, can you shut up? If you're watching, you should go back and rewatch this entire episode and drink anytime you hear me tell my dog to shut up.
Your favorite console will tell us your age.
Oh yeah. That'd be a good one. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and do the regular shilling that we do.
Stealth is still dead.
He's coming back to life.
Is he? Oh, he is.
Okay. We'll start over on this side since Stealth is waking up from his slumber.
All right.
So maybe chill yourself.
Turtle already knows a little bit about this one. So I'm going to be having a big stream coming up soon. I'll be releasing a date on it where I will be passing something. I don't want to tell you from there. But yeah, stay tuned. I got something really, really extremely big to tell you very soon. Maybe it's a kidney stone.
He's going to pass gas.
That's funny.
Stealth?
Yeah, I'm
Sobi. Okay.
Wow.
You all start with S. Jesus.
It's a funky S.
I am Toby Fresh. You can find me at twitch.tv/TobyFresh. I'm going to start playing horror games on the weekend so I could actually get a schedule. So you can see me this weekend. Very late, since it's a horror game, I play it at night. But yeah, you can find me probably midnight Central Standard Time.
Hey Sobi, fun fact, I hear horror games actually help with anxiety.
Do they? I'll find out.
That sounds so backwards. Okay. And Foxy?
I got nothing. Make sure to drink water.
Beer has water.
Water.
Okay, and
Gamer subs.
Yeah, I made it back just in time. Y'all can find me on twitch.tv/StealthTheFox. As some of you have seen, I just got back into it a few days ago. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to stream our latest game night. That's it. See y'all then.
Okay. And once again, next week is going to be our VR Chat News Day. We're going to be doing that every last Thursday of the month from now on. Unless there happens to be some like really big news relating to VR Chat, then we'll have a focus day at some point during the month as well. But anyway, I think that's it.
Oh, thank you. Never forget.
I will see you guys.
Got it in.
Next time.
Bye, champ.
Clean your underwear while still wearing it. Do it.
Wow. Okay. If anyone watches it on YouTube, they are likely to hear that as the last thing.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, I'm sorry, boys.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so that's good.
It's been so
My computer
long.
froze.
No. Well, you're still moving.
Where
So
am I going?
it's
Oh, no. It was just the screen for some reason.
Okay.
It's fixed
I
now.
have to go take Puppy out. I don't think
Don't worry about me standing
I have time
behind you. I'm
take him
trying to
out after
support
work
it.
today. I'll be back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I had to take my puppy out, and now I'm being summoned by the missus, so I have to depart quickly.
By the missus.
I understand that feeling.
Wife. Yes.
Yeah.
If you know, you
Come
know.
guys with the
My beer.
wives.
Here's my beer.
Yes.
Trying to high five. There we go.
I'm trying to fist bump.
It's
There.
the hardest thing with the camera. It's so hard with the camera.
Yeah.
The camera doesn't know if I'm throwing a palm or trying to slap myself. It doesn't know.
No, it doesn't. All right. Later, boys.
Later.
See ya.
Club going up on a Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a while, Xavier.
Oh, I know. Like my job, I had this big server move that we had to take care of, and we're basically moving data centers, which meant I needed to go fly up to Colorado in order to help with the progress with that and still do support and stuff. So I was away from all my good shit for a while. Yeah.
I don't know what my mom or my dad does when they go, but they actually have something in Colorado that help out with their companies too. It's probably a data center.
They have a lot of data centers. They have a lot of data centers there. I can say for the most part, I stood around, we talked, and then stood around and did like maybe 2 to 3% of work. We picked up equipment every now and then we went back to sitting around. It was a total waste of time, but they paid for it, so
Grab the hammer.
my goddamn computer. Grab hammer.
Picked up a broom and swept. Looked busy.
Okay.
Oh, I definitely wasn't sweeping. I run away before I sweep.
Nice.
I see all my roughneck cousins and all them. They all do like maybe tougher sounding jobs like bus driver. So they make the joke of calling me like, oh man, you have soft hands. I'm like, what the fuck you want me to do? Like rub aggressively on my keyboard while I'm working? Shut the fuck up. Like, yes, I use great lotion when I masturbate. I don't care if you know about it or not, but why has this got to be in a conversation?
What the fuck did I come back to?
I was talking about like all my cousins will say like I have soft hands. Like